What are some of the benefits that women bring to talent acquisition? Because you probably have some insight into that given the nature of the organization.
I think women are
Hmm.
bringing a lot of strategic insight. They
Hmm.
are highly collaborative people. They are great multitaskers,
Hmm.
um, and they're great collaborators and supporters.
Well, welcome everyone to the Small Talk Window podcast, where we have a small window of time to dispense with the small talk as quickly as possible and settle into a meaningful conversation related to the world of work. My guest today is Natalie Stones, co-founder of Talent Collective. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Good morning
Oh
or
yeah.
good afternoon to you.
It's yeah. No, this is great. We've been waiting to do this episode for a while. Very excited. Um, and we want to talk a little bit more about Talent Collective in a little bit here. But thank you again for appearing on the podcast. And just want to kind of set the stage here, if we will. It's only fitting that you're here today, I think, because first of all, it's my birthday, and I want to thank you in advance for being here for that. Um,
Being your birthday
you're
student.
welcome. Yeah, the audience will know I'm a little bit facetious because the real that is a real reason you're here, but a much more important reason is that this is actually the day of the Women in HR Technology Summit, which again this year kicks off at the in real life much awaited annual HR Technology Conference and Expo in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Women helping women in this job market in high technology for HCM specifically, but also elsewhere. It's critical, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why we started Talent Collective. So I can't wait to share a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is all about DE&I. It's all about the future of work. It's not only for women in the workplace, but for women recruiters too. Why don't we dive in? What gets you up every morning to kind of go out there and fight the good fight?
Well, Talent Collective has become that thing. I have found so much joy in creating a platform where women, specifically in recruiting, that's our niche for our community, have a place they can go for professional development, virtual experiences, interactions with our partners. Um, we have a mentorship program, we have mastermind peer groups, and we have in-person networking events in any of our 10 to 11 cities. And so what gets me up every morning is being able to curate those experiences across the US. We actually are global now. So really every day it's like, okay, what's the next experience that I'm working on for any one of our 10 cities with any of our various partners to provide those really great member experiences for women in TA chosen to join us.
Wonderful. Well, that's super interesting, and I agree with you. There's a real need and a demand, more importantly, or just as important, right, for this kind of mentoring. Maybe you could just dive in a little bit more into, how does it work? How does it work? How many folks do you have? What's the scope of this organization? It's pretty exciting.
Um, so we have a little over 450 members globally, and specifically, they are in talent acquisition or people operations as long as they're still owning the recruiting function. That's the key thing. Like, regardless of your title, for the most part, as long as you still own or oversee the recruiting function, it's the
Mhm.
right environment. Otherwise, you'll be bored with the content. Um, but the two biggest things that have kept us going, we're now in year two, is the feedback that we've received from members about number one, the mentorship,
Mhm.
because so many of them, especially if they're in corporate recruiting, they have said, I have, for the first time in my life, actually had to focus on my own job search because either A, I'm unemployed now, or two, I'm really nervous that I might become unemployed because of just the way the economy is going. And I find that when I'm in the thick of my corporate recruiting job, I make no effort to network with my peers. And so this has provided a space, both virtually and in person, for them to remain accountable to keeping in touch with fellow members within our function, so that, heaven forbid, things should happen, they already have a vast network of connections to help them in their job search, or maybe they just want to change jobs 2 years from now, or they are looking for a peer mentor because they're learning how to scale up a company and they've never done that before. So the mentorship program is the thing that really is a hot topic, I guess you could say, a hot offering. The second is the in-person experiences. They love the networking events. They love the experiences that we put on with our partners. Our partners are typically recruiting or HR tech companies. And by experiences, that could be, wine tasting events. That could be TA leader dinners. It could be speaker panels, summits, etc. But things that have a combination of fun and collaboration, but also has some thought leadership built into it.
You were describing sort of, a recruiter that all of a sudden is having to focus on their own job search, and that can be kind of an interesting pivot.
Yes.
For somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen it a lot. We now have what are we calling it? Motivation Mondays, where recruiters who are unemployed, they come together on Mondays.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Tonight on NBC, Jimmy Fallon and Bozoma St. John host the highly anticipated new competition show.
I hired 10 creatives from all walks of life. They will be battling it out to see who can impress the world's biggest brands.
This is a huge opportunity.
This is the battle for the next big idea.
This is not play.
We're spending millions of dollars.
I'm so excited to embark on this adventure with all of you.
May the best idea win!
On Brand with Jimmy Fallon, series premiere tonight on NBC.
Have a little pep talk, keep each other mentally sane, and share job searching tips or recommendations, things like that. But just really having a place where people can support each other in their recruiting function.
I'm so glad you brought up the support aspect and kind of underscored that just now, because we had another episode of the podcast recently where the guest is a recruiter. And she was very clear and very emphatic about this, that having a sort of your circle of people who understand what you're going through as a recruiter on a day-to-day basis is incredibly helpful to success, because, recruiter, it's one of those roles. It's not exactly like sales at all, but there are similarities, and it can be. You have your ups and your downs, your valleys and your highs, your troughs and your, I've run out of antonyms here. But anyway, the whole point being is exactly mountain peaks. Yeah, troughs and peaks, or valleys and peaks, excuse me. Anyway, sorry. But thinking about, just having those folks that can even just kind of swoop in there and give you a pep talk or help you figure out a solution to something to kind of get the passive talent target that you found to actually talk with you, or maybe to get the client company to speak with your candidates, these sorts of things that you can actually, in the parlance of sales, close the deal or get the person hired. For recruiters, that seems to be a really, really important integral aspect to their success.
Yes, I would agree. There are other things that we are doing in the community that really bring collaboration together. where we're seeing like some agency recruiters that either own boutique firms or they work for other firms that are working on splits together because business is kind of slow or they're having a hard time finding the right talent or that's not their niche. So they want to work with a niche agency to help fulfill the candidate pipeline. So that's a real cool thing that we've started to see coming out of Talent Collective. We've had heads of talent hire our recruiters for contract roles, full-time roles. We've had recruiters post in there that I'm looking for jobs and they've received introductions. So when you say the word support, there's support in so many different aspects: collaboration, professional development, mentorship, job searching, referrals, introductions, discounts from our partners. There's a lot of different support that is provided.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the benefits that women bring to talent acquisition? Because you probably have some insight into that given the nature of the organization.
I think women are really phenomenal multitaskers. I always joke sometimes I've worked with male recruiters in the past and they're just like, "Oh, I'm so slammed, I'm so overwhelmed." You joke about that, it's like we really are good multitaskers. Multitasking, in theory is actually not a very healthy practice because you can't ever fully focus on something. But I think women are bringing a lot of strategic insight. They are highly collaborative people. They are great multitaskers. And they're great collaborators and supporters. To pivot just a little bit on your question, some of the unique things that we are bringing to the community because we are we are all women, is topics that are only relevant for a woman in their career. So we really debated for a while, do we also include men? Do we just keep it women? We opted, let's just start with women. We can always add on. And throughout this first year journey, we've heard a lot of women say, there's nothing wrong with having men a part of a same community, but it does just naturally change the dynamics of any room, of any workshop, of opinions, of experiences. So while we provide a lot of professional development around recruiting, we also bring in a lot of personal development around being a woman in the workforce, right? So anything related to the diversity aspects of being a woman in their career, the pay inequity, or being a working mother or single mom, single parent, being passed up for promotions, and not to make it all negative, but things that historically women have struggled to, get ahead in their careers. These are things that we also want to bring to the community just to help these women naturally progress and get forward in their careers, regardless of the fact that they're recruiters. So we have found that not only are they craving the talent professional development, but they're also craving that personal development on how do I grow as a woman in my career?
Yeah, absolutely. This is all just really, really fascinating stuff. And I'm really, really, really grateful that you've appeared on the episode. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.